what's up, guys? It's, Michael from 3B Psychology Standard. And today, I'm doing my, autism, my project on autism, for psychology. But, this is my information, you know, took notes, everything. But, I'm gonna be reading it, because my, memory's shit. But this is my information. I did the project. It's not based on my ability to present. It's based on my ability to give the information. Please give me an A. Ah! By definition, autism is a mental condition characterized by difficulties in communicating and forming relationships with other people in using language and abstract concepts, which pretty much means autistic people have a difficulty being social. They can't convey themselves verbally. And they also have trouble, you know, like physically, like, you know, using gestures, keeping eye contact and making facial expressions that show their emotions, stuff like that. But I'll get more into the nitty-gritty of all that later. You think this is cool? I'm trying to do my psychology project over here and you just come in and interrupt me.
I think you're gay.
So also what that means is that people with autism are not intellectually affected. What that really means is they just can't convey themselves like other people. Like I said, physically, with gestures, and verbally. They're not really retarded like people with Down syndrome or bronies. Mostly, they're just, they just can't speak right. And by the way, autism affects people differently. Some people might not have it as hard as others. So, but there are underlying symptoms for kids. So, I'm gonna go over those. There are 3 steps. So, the 3 symptoms in autism in young children that are reoccurring, that I'm going to go over today, are difficulties with social interaction, communication, and appropriate behavior. So, autistic kids find it hard to use physical means to create social relationships. What that means, pretty much, what that means is, they can't really use gestures correctly to convey what they mean. Like, you know, how I talk, I always say, oh wait, see you guys, dude. I don't know, you know, gestures, eye contact, facial emotions for sadness, happiness, and confused. They just don't do that. Oh god, that water looks so unclear, but I'm gonna use it anyways. Also, they also fail to make relationships with their peers, like other students at school. Remember, I'm talking about young kids with autism. Early stages of life. It's where it first shows up, really. Very early stages of life, actually. Like, even when they're, you know, still babies, they don't enjoy, affectionate behavior with their parents. If a kid's picked up by their mom, they get very anxious and they find it to be a very stressful moment and they don't enjoy it at all. And it can be very hard for the parents, actually. They also fail to make relationships. They might not make friends with people their age as easily. They might not be good at sharing interests of happiness or showing off, like a kid who just made a picture or something. Like, they just drew a picture, right? And that, you know, most kids will be like, hey, look at this picture I drew. Autistic kids, they don't do it. It's like they're stupid or something, am I right? They aren't very social at all. And even verbally, they don't speak until later stages of life. Most kids learn and pick up things from a parent, or like when they hear people speak, and they start speaking at like a year old or something. I don't know, I've never raised a kid. Do I look like I'm good at raising children? No, I'm not. I never have, and I don't plan on doing it for a very long time. But an autistic kid would start speaking at, I don't know, say 4 years old, like 3. Holy sh! Oh my god. Yeah, and they don't socialize very well. This water had a lot more of that white stuff in it, like, you know, not white stuff, but like bubbles. It had a lot more of that in it. It was like a layer of it. You can't just come down here like this. This is my floor right now. They might also have trouble with spoken language. They, like I said before, they don't speak until the later stages of their life. Like, they don't use verbal communication very well. Plus what I said about gestures and everything. They will also have difficulty continuing or even starting conversations. Like, they'll start a conversation with somebody, you know, they'll start a conversation, the person will respond and they'll just go on doing something else. Like, severe ADD, but not the same, because ADD and autism aren't the same. Just because they start with A doesn't mean they're the same thing. Or maybe they will start conversations and just say the same thing over and over again. Actually, remember that. I'll bring that up later. There's a word for that. Oh my god. Being inflexible and repeating things in conversation is also called echolalia. That's a thing. Or and so there are 2 types of echolalia. There's immediate echolalia, which is like I said before, they just say something in a conversation, and then the person will respond and like just keep saying the same thing over again. So say I'm talking to Miss Turner, asking her to give me an A for this project, and oh, that ramen's definitely done. And she says, "Why should I give you an A on this project? You didn't do what I told you to do." And I say, "Can you please give me an A on this project?" I just keep saying that over and over and over again, right? Put this on the toaster. I don't know, that might be a good idea. And I just keep saying that over and over again. That's immediate echolalia, repeating the same thing over and over again in conversation. But delayed echolalia, which is the other one I was talking about, is when they in conversation repeat phrases that they've heard in, I don't know, TV, music, movies, radio, whatever, like where they've heard anywhere else, which can also be called TV talk, or videotape talk, or scripting. There's names for everything. It's stupid. I hate it. It's so professional. That's not my. I'm not that type of person. Now on to the appropriate behavior difficulty part of having autism. Come back home. Whip. I'm cutting that out. A kid with autism might have difficulties with appropriate, you know, the way they act. Like, they might have unconventional routines that they do. Like, oh, they go to sit down at lunch and they always sit in the same chair, and if they don't sit in that same chair, they get upset and angry or something like that. And they can't stand sitting in another chair at all. No pun intended, because you sit in chairs, not stand. It's like an oxymoron. This is real comedy. I'm a comedic genius. Please give me an A in this project. I'm gonna hang myself. They might have obsessions with inflexible or limited interests, or maybe they obsess over parts of an object. Like, they'll have a toy fire truck or something. They'll be obsessed with only the wheels, right? That's being obsessed with only part of it. But being obsessed with another object for absolutely no reasons, like they're obsessed with fire trucks. Like, maybe in conversation they always talk about fire trucks. Like the little kids talking to their miracle worker, I don't even know what you call them, the people who work with them, whatever, and they're like, I don't know, the person asks, "Oh, how was your day at school?" And they're just like, "Oh, do you like fire trucks?" And they just keep talking about fire trucks for no reason. Who cares about fire trucks? Autistic kids, they really like them. They also have inflexible or repetitive movements. Like, I don't know, whenever something happens, they always hit themselves in the head, just, Asperger's meltdowns. This is real depression that I'm going through right now. Which is also called self-stimulatory behaviors, which can also be called SSB for an abbreviation. It can also be called a repetitive movement, they might also have inflexible or repetitive movements, which can also be called self-stimulatory behaviors, SSBs, for an abbreviation. So these movements are self-rewarded. Nobody is involved in the rewards for the stimulus. The kid does it itself, and they just, I don't know, reward themselves with it by being happy with the movement of flexing whenever they buy a new pair of J's. So nobody, there's, you know, there isn't much to know about that one. That one's weird. They have the behaviors are self-reinforced. But yeah, that's what I got on autism. I got those 3 symptoms for kids, and I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. Check the description for what I used as you know, whatever, my you know, things I used to get my information, where I got my notes from. And subscribe for more cooking tutorials and autistic talk. I'm Michael Mason from 3B psychology class, Miss Turner, Delaney High School. I live here. Please come visit me. I'm very sad and very lonely. Please slaughter my family.